Welcome in, everybody. It's the coach, and you're tuned in to Madden 19 on EA Sports. Up next, we've got what should be an intriguing matchup between the New Orleans Saints and the Cincinnati Bengals. With that, let's get up to Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. For the call, we bring in our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
From the banks of the Ohio River, there's a look at Paul Brown Stadium here in Cincinnati, Ohio. This crowd loves their orange and black. The scene just a short time ago, they were in full roar as their guys burst out of the locker room. We're ready for football as the Bengals get set to do battle with Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. It's the first weekend of autumn, and the NFL is in full swing as off we go on EA Sports. On the return, it's Alex Erickson. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Andy Dalton bringing out the Cincinnati Bengals offense. It's a 2-0 team right now. They won 34-23 last Thursday against Baltimore, which, interestingly enough, the same score that they beat the Indianapolis Colts by in Week 1.
Do you use those same numbers for your lottery ticket now?
Oh, you might.
I mean, that would work pretty well for them. What I've enjoyed watching about them is, remember, last year, didn't score an offensive touchdown the first 2 weeks of the season. They're off to a fast start when Andy Dalton is directing the team. He's now 6-13 in primetime games, one of those knocks against him. But I thought he was really sharp in preseason. He's carried it over to the regular season. How about 265 yards and 4 touchdowns in the big win against Baltimore?
They go play action here on first down. Oh, he's going to take a shot right away. And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, second down. Here now the offense for the Bengals.
Out wide they have A.J. Green, who can run every route you want on the route tree and take the top off of defense with his speed and has the length to go over the top of people to catch the ball. But maybe the most impressive thing about him, the only wide receiver ever to be a Pro Bowler in his first 7 years in the NFL.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Throwing again, Dalton. And the Saints pressure gets him. Brought down for a sack. Cameron Jordan coming hard that time. He's able to run him down for a loss of 12.
All right, partner, I'm going to be Captain Obvious right here. Not the start you're looking for offensively, right? Incomplete pass followed by a sack.
And when he went down, it looked like that right ankle got turned, but thankfully he popped up okay, and they breathed a sigh of relief on that sideline. So the sack, and now it's 3rd and long for Dalton and the Bengals. Dalton here from the gun. He drops it off for Bernard. And he's able to get up here to the 26. It's a 9-yard pickup on the play, and that's going to make it 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
Punting now is Huber as he sends it away. Here's Ginn. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. 51 yards on the punt there. And the Saints will take over with a 1st down and 10. Here comes a veteran, Drew Brees, ready to lead this Saints offense. A come-from-behind victory Week 2. They were down 12-3 to Cleveland, but they got the 21-18 victory, Charles, and that avoided them dropping to 0-2.
And it's been a real mystery because in recent years, the Saints in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season have really struggled. So them getting this win was vital for them, especially against a team that everyone thought that they would absolutely dominate. Brees, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, helped lead a victory, and was more of a relief win than it was one that they'd exalt.
So Brees going to lead the Saints up here, 1st and 10 at about the 32. Throwing now is Brees. Again has it complete. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. And a look now at the offense for New Orleans.
And we'll see the second half of their dynamic duo in the backfield, and that's Alvin Kamara, who in 2017, the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. How about this? Over 1,500 total yards and 13 total touchdowns in a debut performance. Expect more of the same and probably a little bit extra.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on 1st down. Now Brees on the bootleg. He's just going to dump this one off to his fullback out of the backfield. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
And the big guy catches the ball out of the backfield, and oftentimes that's quite a surprise to the guys playing defense because not ordinarily thought as a pass catcher, it often works when they decide to dial it up.
They'll run it for the first time with Alvin Kamara. Some extra space following the display of power. Down just inside the 45. He'll get a nice chunk there on the 1st down run, and it's 2nd and 4. Alvin Kamara really settling into the league in his 2nd season. And, of course, he came out of Tennessee, but not a lot of people remember he started at Alabama.
He did, and got caught in that big mix of running backs at Bama. And they like those bigger, thicker runners, those guys who can break down defenses through the middle. Alvin Kamara ended up leaving Alabama, going to a junior college for a while. I believe he went to Hutchinson Junior College before matriculating at Tennessee and finding his way to the NFL, where he is now a star.
So not much to speak of scoring-wise in this first quarter of play. 0-0 our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this.
The NFL on EA Sports is fueled by Gatorade, the sports fuel company.
With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's Saints football to begin quarter number 2. They'll come up on a 3rd and 4 here to start things out. From the gun, it's Brees. And that's complete. It's Watson. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
Well, sometimes our pregame meetings do pay off, don't they? What do the guys in the locker room call him?
Well, they said it with a chuckle. They called him Old Reliable.
Yeah, that means he doesn't move quite as fast as he used to, but he still knows all the tricks, doesn't he? Even that little gentle push-off in order to get open, he finds a way to pick up a 1st down.
A first opportunity upcoming in the red zone for the Saints. 1st and 10 at the 19. Back to the ground. It's Kamara. And he'll take this down for about 4 yards, down to the 15.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
Two minutes remain in a scoreless first half. We'll come back to Cincinnati after this. A reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll check in with our Jonathan Coachman. He'll have highlights and analysis of the first half, and our highlights will likely be on the defensive side of the football here. Scoreless game. On second down, here's Breeze. And a sideline pass. That's caught by Thomas. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down. Michael Thomas, by the way, Charles, 28 catches in the first 2 games of the season. By far and away the most in the league.
An NFL record for 2 games, but I think he has his sights set on a 16-game record held by Marvin Harrison. 143 catches in a season. Now, that's a lot to ask for. And, you know, baseball guys, right? When the guy hits a home run on opening day, he's on a pace for 162. We know that's not realistic. But the way they throw the football around and him being WR1 in New Orleans, he's going to dominate the passing game for the Saints.
All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. On 4th down, off goes Drew Brees, and on comes the Saints kicker, Will Lutz, for the field goal attempt. And Lutz puts this one through. And the Saints are going to take a 3-0 lead. So still no touchdowns in the first half, but we do have some action on the scoreboard with the field goal.
So maybe now the mentality changes in this game, because anytime you can get to the red zone and if you don't come away with 6 points, you feel like it's a disappointment. In a game like this one, being able to kick field goals means you're right there, and then you're just looking for that big break to take you over the top.
Following the made field goal, Lutz to kick it away. This fielded at the 2. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The Bengals taking the field again here on offense. So let's get back to their 2-0 start. That's great, but the schedule about to stiffen up a little bit. They have to go to Carolina, then to Atlanta, and then week 5, Miami, who looks better than everybody thought they would be.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What's interesting to me is preseason, how many of us had the Steelers running away with this division?
Yeah.
I had my hands raised, okay? I thought this was the Steelers and Chase. Could the Ravens get involved? With Cincinnati being proved, the Browns weren't even on the radar. Well, the Browns are the best 0-1-1 team you've seen in a while. They learned how to kick the football. The Steelers have just struggled like crazy. And here comes Cincinnati. Could they really be the team to take control of this division? As you noted, this upcoming schedule will tell us a lot.
That one good for 15, and the Bengals get a first down. Here's Dalton. Underneath, this is Bernard. It's a gain of 5, and it'll make it second down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. And Dalton to throw. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
This team is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Another chance for Dalton. He finds Ross right side. It's complete. And now the Saints are going to take a timeout on defense as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. And now following that timeout, the defense back out onto the field. Here's Kevin Huber now. On for his second punt. He'd take a repeat of his first. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. The Saints offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point?
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about
Toe
that.
bashed it.
Super toe.
Throwing on first down is Breeze. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Thomas. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. And we're back. The offense had a chance to talk things over. We'll see what they come up with here on this next play. On 1st and 10, here's Breeze. The Bengal pressure gets him that time. Down he goes.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
To at least get some of this yardage back after the sack. 2nd and 19. Kamara. And he got blown up on that play. Back at the 20. And now the Bengals are going to call another timeout, as they'll stop it with 14 seconds to go in this first half. The defense, they got a little bit of a breather. Now they're back and set as we resume play. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. Breeze leaves this one with Kamara. And he'll go down just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. And they're going to take a timeout defensively. So with 4th down coming up, they go ahead and burn it and say we'll see what happens. So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready. Here's Thomas Morstead on now to punt it away on 4th down. Alex Erickson deep for Cincinnati. This is taken at the 18. So we've hit halftime. Just a field goal separating these two teams at the break. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much, and welcome in everyone to an abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. We want to remind you that new this year in regular season games, I'll take you around the NFL and give you stats and scores from games in progress, as well as look back at games that have already been completed. So keep an eye out for that, but for now, let's get you back out to Brandon and Charles.
These offenses seemingly still back at the hotel for the first half. 3-0 our score as the second half gets underway. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. Out come the Saints now. They'll go on offense first here to begin the third quarter. They have the lead now. They'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that, because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies, try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
We'll see if they do just that. They start the second half with Kamara. And a short gain there as he'll get it up only to about the 24. Big Geno Atkins there to bring him down.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Now Breeze throwing on second down. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's third down. A pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides, where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
Now Breeze on third down. Oh, look at Thomas wide open. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. A big third down conversion with a gain of 28. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times, because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down.
So they'll come up in Bengals territory now with a 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
Ready, what's up?
Again, this is Kamara, and this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. That'll set him back with a loss of 3 on the play, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 13.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
They run it again with Kamara. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Sean Williams that time in on the stop. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
The Saints on third down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is going to be 3rd and 13. Shotgun now for Breeze. And that is incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
And here's Morstead now as he sends this one away. So here are the Bengals now as they get their first possession of this second half. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
So here's Dalton and the Bengals now, 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. The first carry for the second-year man, Joe Mixon. And he's going to be taken down right at about the 15-yard line. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secured before they slide off and try and chip someone at the second level.
2nd down, Dalton. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And able to get it here to about the 16-yard line. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Cincinnati. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the 4th quarter. One of the bigger plays in the game thus far, and the crowd getting into it as we come up on a big 3rd down. From the gun, Dalton looks to throw. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
Here's Kevin Huber now, standing just outside his own goal line. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Now it's Ginn. A great return there of 22 yards. And that will come the offense as they take over. Out is the Saints offense now as they get ready to take over here. They were forced to punt last time, and I doubt sincerely that they'll have to punt here because they're gifted with terrific field position.
I don't even want to think about the idea that they would end up punting starting with this type of field position. Neither do they. Great starting spot, great opportunity to run your full playbook. If they want to take a shot here, they can go ahead and do it.
Now a first down carry. It's Kamara. And he'll get this into enemy territory, but not by much as he's down to the 48. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back. Those are the ones you focus on and want to take away, and they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
Breeze to throw on 2nd down. Setting up the receiver screen here to Thomas. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. So it's Saints football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
4 down, 4 down. Ready. Yellow lady.
On 3rd down, here's Kamara. And whistles, and we're going to have another stoppage of play as they call the timeout on defense with 1:53 left. So a defensive timeout, chance to regather, regroup, and get set as we resume action. Here's Thomas Morstead now as he's on to punt for New Orleans. Now this Bengals offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. So far they've had 3 drives, 3 punts. Not good.
Not good indeed, because you've got to have something to show for being out on the field. Now sometimes if you have a game where neither side has scored, 3 punts isn't a bad thing. But when you're trying to set the pace, get up on top in a game, you've got to show better offense and find a way to put some points on the board.
Back to throw. Forced out to his left. He'll get 8 on the scramble there. It'll be 2nd and a couple. Now the Bengals urging everybody to get back to the line of scrimmage. They'll look to throw. And the catch made. It's Tyler Boyd. Give him 17 and a Cincinnati first down. First down now, but the clock continues to move. Back to throw. And his throw is incomplete. Tyler Boyd, the former Pitt Panther, was the target. And now it's 2nd down. So he's unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is he just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
He's back to throw. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Boyd. And he'll be taken down, but not before getting this inside the 30. And a nice gain of 21 yards. He'll look to throw. And his throw here is incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Now a first carry from Giovanni Bernard. And not even back to the line of scrimmage this time as they're on him quickly once more. Big spot, Andy Dalton. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game.
Partner, you absolutely cannot take a sack in that situation. Now, it's also 4th down.
That's what I'm talking about. Sacks all day, baby. Go ahead and take a seat. You can't stop me.
So now Randy Bullock with an important field goal try here. This to potentially send us to overtime. And the clock will now stop as a timeout is called with 5 seconds left. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. So now one of the biggest kicks of the night is forthcoming. This to potentially send us to overtime. And his kick here is good. And they will tie this game here in the final seconds. This hasn't exactly been a battle of one touchdown after the other, quite the opposite. But at 3-3 now here in the fourth, it's been an entertaining game considering just 2 field goals.
Yeah, is it really a football game now, or are we watching baseball? This feels like a pitcher's duel, doesn't it? Nice and tense on the edge of your seat. Have you been scoring this one? A lot of strikeouts and ground balls in this one.
So here comes the kickoff now, all even here in this fourth quarter. This is fielded at the goal line. And we have free football overtime. Here we go, my friend.
And the way this game played out, this is exactly how it should end, going to overtime, because neither one got an advantage today.
And here in overtime, if the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals, the next team to score wins. But if the receiving team throws a pick six or fumbles the ball and it gets picked up by the defense and they score, the game is over at that point.
So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. They control their own destiny here. They have the football in overtime. Obviously, a touchdown would win it.
And I think teams around the league are still adjusting to the idea of going downfield, scoring a touchdown wins the game, because they were used to just going downfield and trying to get in field goal range to win a game. Still having to make that transition. Let's face it now, the ones who are doing it best know they need to go down, attack, put the ball in the end zone, and not leave it up to a field goal and give the other team a chance.
Yeah, as we said, they control their own destiny now. They'll start on the ground here with Bernard. And they're able to get this one across the 35. It's a Bengal first down, a pickup of 11.
That was good, tough running right up the middle. And if the defense can't penetrate and make him slow his pace or change direction, that's often the end result.
So now the first OT throw coming for Dalton. His throw incomplete. His big tight end, Tyler Eifert, the intended receiver. That'll bring up second down. Well, you got a young quarterback. You know, maybe that's just an example of a growing pain for him.
I think you're right about that, because when the game starts to move fast and it moves quickly on him, a lot of times they fall back on what they know best, their arm. He's slinging it on this one. Had a wide open target, but didn't have the proper footwork to increase his accuracy.
On second down, here's Mixon. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. So he loses 3 yards there. Now third down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
Now, the Bengals on third down. Not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This is going to be 3rd and 13. Out of the gun, it's Dalton. And he's taken down here by the Saints.
It's a team game, but sometimes individuals do stand out, don't they? How about that for a twofer? Tackle for a loss on the running play on the previous down, and then comes right back and gets a sack.
Here's Kevin Huber now. On for a very important punt here in overtime. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. Taken in at the 22. A big kick that time, 52 yards. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Now the Saints, they trot their offense out here. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
So Bree's going to lead the Saints up here, 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. They begin on the ground with Kamara. Not much room here as he only gets it to about the 30. The linebacker, Preston Brown, brings him down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
And before this 2nd down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout. They'll be left with just 1 remaining here at OT. And we are back here. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. So the offense takes a timeout, and now we're set to get going. What can Breeze do now with his drive? Throw left side, taken in by Hill. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. The Saints on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. Working from the gun, it's Breeze. And that's caught by Smith. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. His first catch, and it's a big one in overtime. It's a 1st down. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead. It'll be their 2nd and final timeout, remember, here in overtime. We'll be back. And welcome back. The offensive unit, they took the timeout. And now they get set to line up as we resume action. Now flags will come in. And I think this is against the Saints up front.
False start, offense.
And that'll set them back 5.
Still 1st down.
The false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Following the penalty, it's Kamara. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. They get 1 yard back there to make it 2nd and 14.
Well, obviously, they would have at least liked to have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Instead, now, they're dealing with 2nd and long.
I thought they would have passed it after the penalty. Probably wish they would have now. From the gun, it's Breeze. Over the middle, open is Thomas. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a 3rd down. The Saints on 3rd down, 3 for 7 so far in this game. Here it's 3rd and 2. Here's Kamara, try to run for it. And some good tackling there as he stopped up at about the 41. It'll be called a gain of 2, and that'll leave him with some options here on 4th and inches.
I'll bet they thought they had picked that one up because it was a 3rd and 2 call. And they got awfully close. Now we're at 4th and inches. I wonder if they think they're feeling lucky here and maybe want to go pick it up.
So it all rests now on the right leg of Will Lutz. This to win it in overtime. So it all rests now on the right leg of Will Lutz. And now the Bengals are going to call another timeout. They'll be down to just 1 remaining as we step aside here in overtime. And now following that timeout, the defense back out onto the field. So it all rests now on the right leg of Will Lutz. This to win it in overtime. That's running out of steam, and it won't get there. He left it just short. No good, and we will play on here in overtime. But when you get that ball in OT, that's not the chance you envision, and the long field goal attempt here winds up lacking.
And you don't want to hang too much of this on your kicker, but he's going to leave you in a tough spot as well because you give your opponents excellent field position to start their first drive.
The Bengals offense now, they head back onto the field. Neither team scored yet. Now we go to sudden death. Next points win this game.
How about the tension right now? It is ratcheted up, isn't it? I mean, now whatever happens, points are scored, that's your ball game. Can't wait to see the defense now. Do they get a little more aggressive in order to not let the team just drive the ball easily down the field?
Got to be careful, though, right?
Yeah, if you're too aggressive, you just give up something easy and cheap. But some defensive coordinators, they'd rather take a stand that way as opposed to being nickeled and dimed down the field.
1st and 10 for Dalton. And Green with a catch left side. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Here's Dalton. Oh, he almost had it. Would have been a big interception here in OT. Instead, it'll give him another shot on 3rd down. Another nice job there defensively. They've really stymied their passing attempts, and it continues in overtime.
And for them to do that, that means they've had to be cohesive on defense. Pressure in the quarterback's face, good coverage of not just the wide receivers, but the tight end, the running backs when they try and slip out, and making sure they're at the point of attack. When the ball's in the air, they get there and help force some of those incompletions.
3rd and 2 for Dalton. And Eifert has it. And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line. And they're able to convert on 3rd with a solid gain of 23. He did not have a catch till that moment. Pretty good time for his first run, though, here in OT.
I would agree with that. And just think about how they had to cycle through all the play sheets, right? Tried to find ways to get a lot of people the football. In this case, as you said, he hadn't had a catch all game. Now they find him in a key moment. Really well done.
So it all comes down here to the right foot of Randy Bullock. This to win it in overtime. And he got it. The kick is good. In overtime, he's able to split the uprights. Well, we thought this game would be a good one. It did not disappoint into overtime, and it took the field goal to win it.
And we always pay lip service to how important it is to play defense. And usually we focus on the big offensive pyrotechnics, right? But in this case, they got the ball back on defense, gave themselves a chance, and they capitalized on it with a victory.
And I don't care what distance that field goes from in overtime. The knees are always knocking, but he pushed it through.
Not only that, think about your snapper, your holder. A lot of nerves for them, too, because they have to do their job in order to give him one last chance to put a foot to it.
So that'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL